Moore County fourth graders. It's Miss Christie and Bonnie again, and we are here to bring you your pet responsibility mini lesson 3. And we're so glad that you tuned in to watch us. This is actually my favorite lesson of all of our 5 lessons. So I wanted to point out our website real quick before we begin. After you view today's lesson, check out mcprc.org. Click on the PRC Home Learning Plan in the upper right-hand corner. Scroll down until you see Lesson 3 slideshow. That's where you'll find all the information that goes along with today's lesson. Okay, so Lesson 3. If you have a folder, you can find Lesson 3's I Can statement at the bottom. It says, I can make sure my pet is healthy and safe. I can be safe around dogs and cats. So this is such a good lesson, and we're going to talk about what we have to do to keep our pets healthy and safe. So first I'm thinking, let's chat about what keeps us safe and healthy. As 4th graders, you have to eat healthy food, right? You have to drink plenty of water, get a good night's sleep. You have to get exercise, go to the doctor for checkups, all kinds of things to keep you in good condition. So do you think our pets have to do some of those same things? Absolutely. So my dog Bonnie, she just went to the vet and she had a great checkup. So I'd like to chat with you about the things that we're going to do annually for our pets, meaning yearly, once a month, and every day. So, as I just mentioned, you want to take your pet to the vet once a year. So the vet will give a checkup with your dog, and they will do things like look into their eyes with a special machine. They'll look into their ears to see if they look clean. Oh, nice job. They'll check out their teeth. Look at her teeth. She's all friendly, but look at those teeth. Nice and clean. They'll also check her weight. They'll feel her to see if she feels like she's a good weight and put her on the scale. They'll pull her joints. They'll pull on her leg, pull on her front and back legs to see if she's mobile, if she can move around good and comfortable. They'll also give her vaccines. Every year, your dog or cat needs vaccines to keep them healthy. One of the vaccines they will give your dog or cat is a rabies vaccine. Here's the tag. So rabies can be transferred by an animal bite. So if an animal bites a human or a dog or cat, any animal, they can get rabies. So Bonnie has had her rabies vaccine. You get that every 1 to 3 years from the vet or animal center, and it basically protects your pet. So let's pretend Bonnie goes outside to the bathroom and there's a raccoon in the backyard, and the raccoon happens to have rabies. Well, if it bites Bonnie, because she's been protected with the rabies vaccine, she will not get rabies, which is really a relief. That's really good news. Like I said, rabies can be transferred to humans. So if you were to get bit by an animal that had rabies, you could get very sick. And in fact, you have to go to the doctor and get a series of shots, and it's not pleasant. So rabies is such a serious illness that it's required by law for all pets in Moore County to have a rabies vaccine. Bonnie has hers on her little tag right here. So that's part of your homework tonight. I want you to find out if your pets have had a current rabies vaccine. So another thing that, well, let's talk about the things that you need to do monthly now. One of the things that you will need to do is give your pet heartworm medication. She thinks this is a treat, but once a month I give her a chewable pill, and it keeps Bonnie from getting heartworms. Now you may think, what are heartworms, and how does my pet get heartworms? Well, let me tell you. So heartworms are transferred to our dog or a cat through an insect bite. Any idea what kind of insect might carry heartworms? It's not a fly, it's not a bee. You know those things that we get a lot in the summertime that make you itch and scratch, and they have little welts? They're called mosquitoes, right? You get mosquito bites. So heartworms are transferred from a mosquito. So let me explain what happens. The mosquito bites your dog or cat, then the larva is actually passed through the bloodstream into the dog's heart. Inside here, you see these little white looking wormy things? These are heartworms. You can see them all around. Now this is a model of a dog's heart, so I'm not holding a real heart. The heartworms grow to be about 1 foot long, and they keep growing and growing and multiplying, and they basically surround the heart, and they keep the dog or cat from being able to breathe. They suffocate the lungs. If not treated, it will kill your pet. So it's really important that you give them a monthly heartworm treatment. Okay, in fact, check this out. Can you see it, Bonnie? We live in the South, right? So check out my map. In the South, here we are in North Carolina, we have a lot of cases of heartworms. If you look at the map, the darker the red color, the more incidence of heartworms. Notice how we have a lot over here where we live in North Carolina. So it's really important that you give your pet heartworm medication every month. Another thing you need to give your pet every month, I'm going to give you a clue. This is something that drives your dogs and cats crazy. It gets on your pet and it makes them itch and scratch. They get sores. They end up having hot spots. It's this insect that looks like this. This is a giant version of a flea. If you were thinking flea, you were correct. So the flea bites your dog or cat, makes them itch like crazy, and they end up getting a lot of sores and getting sick. So once a month, I give Bonnie this medication, and I'm not trying to tell you to get a certain medicine. There's all different kinds out there. I put this tube, it's liquid, I put it between her shoulder blades, and then it's like armor for her body. It protects her from fleas and ticks for 1 month. Isn't that good, Bonnie? Yeah. All right, so that's what you do every month. Now, big question, what do we do every day for our pets? Well, we need to give them healthy food, just like people. So you want to provide them with nutritious, high-quality dog or cat food. They need fresh water every day, right? Like especially when it's really hot out, we need to change that water bowl often. They might finish it up a lot quicker than they would in the wintertime, so check that water bowl a lot. Our pets need exercise, right? So if you have a cat, you might not realize, but they need exercise too. They need playtime. They like to play with things on a stick, like feathers, or little furry kind of things. Our dogs like to play with toys, and they love to go on walks. So you want to make sure you walk your pet often, your dog often. Stay. I said that W word, she thinks we're going to go. No, we're not going to go. But I do want to mention, when you walk your dogs, especially in the summertime, make sure you check to see if it's cool enough for your dog. One way to check is to go out to the street, feel the pavement with your hand. When you put your hand on that pavement, if it's hot, if it burns you, then it is just too hot to walk your dog. You want to walk them in the mornings or the evenings this time of year. All right, what about safety for our pets? They need a nice, strong leash like this. Bonnie has her nice leash. And on it, it's hooked to the collar that we talked about with the ID tag. Bonnie has hers. The microchip. If you have puppies or kittens, you need to think about things around the house. You need to make sure you don't have cords laying around, you don't have chemicals laying around, because puppies and kittens, they are like babies. They get into everything. So please supervise your puppies and your kittens. The toys that you give your pets are important too. Make sure they're appropriate for their age. Dogs and cats love to chew on the toys, and sometimes they actually swallow some of that stuff. Bonnie loves to tear up stuffed animals, but I have to be careful because I don't want her to swallow anything. Do you know that every year veterinarians across the country have to do surgery on dogs and cats because they have ingested something from a toy that they swallowed it and got in their intestines and it wouldn't come out. So they had to have surgery. So please be careful of that. Another safety tip. Any of you ever like to take your dogs with you on a ride? Well, we take Bonnie everywhere. But I don't ever leave her in a hot car. So say I need to stop at the store for a few minutes, I would not leave her in a hot car, no matter what. All right? Even if there's a little breeze, even if I leave the windows down all the way, because it's just too hot in the summertime for our dogs. And to give you a visual of that, something to think about, I want you to imagine, kids, if you put on a sweatshirt and some jeans and some boots and a hat, scarf, gloves, and then you go sit in your car in the summertime, in the sun. Tell me how hot you feel. Okay, that's what it's like for our dogs, because they have all this fur, which is like them wearing a coat all day long. So they get especially hot. We need to be really careful. On our website, you're going to find these great puppy, dog, cat, or kitten sheets. They're excellent. They have a lot of tips that we just talked about and more things on here. Especially want you to notice the things on the right. They talk about things that are toxic or poisonous for your dogs or cats. How many of you already knew that chocolate is poisonous for dogs? Yep, a lot of you knew that. I had a feeling. Did you know that things like grapes and raisins and nuts and garlic are also toxic to our dogs? I bet you're surprised at that. I was. I don't understand why it is, but some people's food just does not agree with dogs and cats' stomachs. So be careful of the kind of people food that you give your pet. Okay, it has to be appropriate. But check out this sheet on our website. You can print it out or just read it online. So let's talk about cats and how you keep your cats safe. If you have an indoor cat versus an outdoor cat, it's so much better for the cat, okay? They don't have a chance of getting hit by a car. They don't get a chance to maybe be stolen or lost. They're not likely to get in fights because they're in the house. They are out of the rough weather when it's really hot, really cold. They're not likely to get mistreated by people or abused by people. And they're not likely to get shot with a gun. Do you know some people shoot cats when they are what people consider a nuisance? So it's terrible. So consider having a cat that you keep, no, she wants to get up, that you keep inside. Now I would like for you to, I want to talk about a video that you're going to see after you watch today's video. It's on our website. It's called The Dog Listener. It's an excellent video about being safe around dogs. When you watch that video, you're going to find a paper. This is 3-2-1 Summarizer. I'd like for you to work on this while you watch the video. It's 3 ways I can keep my pet safe, 2 ways I can keep my pet healthy, and 1 way I can be safe around pets. You can either print this off from our website or just take a piece of paper and copy this down and write your answers. All right, so that's more homework for tonight. So in the video, they're going to talk about a lot of things. One of them is how to greet a dog that you don't know. So let's pretend, come here, Bonnie. Come here. Let's pretend I don't know Bonnie. And I'm walking down the street, and her owner has her on a leash, and I want to pet her. So there's 3 things I have to do before I pet her. So the first thing I have to do is ask the owner, may I pet your dog? And if she says yes, I can pet her. But if she says no, I won't. Because sometimes dogs are afraid of kids. Maybe they've been mistreated by a child. Sometimes the dog isn't feeling well, so we have to be respectful of the dog. But if she says yes, the second thing I do is let her sniff me. So I'll make a fist, and I let the dog sniff me. See how she sniffed my hand? Now, Bonnie likes to sniff feet too. So as long as the dog sniffs you somewhere, then you're okay. They need to sniff you because that's how dogs get to know you. Did you know that, Bonnie, sit. Dogs don't say hello like people do in the same way. Like people hug when they see each other. They shake hands when they see each other. Dogs don't do that. Come here, Bonnie. Sit. Have you ever seen a dog hug someone, hug another dog? No, they don't do that. So just remember, dogs don't greet each other that way. They say hello by sniffing. So I've asked the owner, can I pet your dog? Then she sniffed me. Then the next thing is, where do I pet her? Well, a lot of people think you pet the dog on the head like this. Wrong. You want to pet your dog under the chin or on the back. That's a less threatening place to pet. Come here. Okay, down. Okay. I know, she thought we were going somewhere. Okay. So in the video, it's also going to talk about what you do when you see a strange dog. Bonnie, down. Good girl. So say you're out and about in your neighborhood and you see a strange dog. What do? Do you just go up to it yourself? I don't recommend that. I recommend you ask your mom or dad to come out and check the dog's ID tag, and then they can call the owner. If it doesn't have an ID tag, then you can call the animal center, okay? What about if a dog comes up to you and it's aggressive, it's lunging at you? What do? Well, in the video, we talk about you want to learn to make like a tree. And the video is going to go into that in more detail, but basically that keeps you safe if you make like a tree. So check out the video to see what I'm talking about with make like a tree. All right, also on our website, you're going to find a page that looks like this. It's called Wolves and Growls. It talks about different things that you need to make sure you do to be careful around your dog. Like never take the dog food away from the dog while it's eating. You don't want to get up in a dog's face. And on that note, I want to mention, how many of you like to have staring contests? Well, kids love to do that. Well, guess what? Your dogs don't. So please don't have a staring contest with your dog. They don't like it. To a dog, you are threatening them or challenging them for power when you stare at them, okay? And I know of kids, when I've told that story in class or told that situation in class, they've told me that their own dog has bit them because they've laid on the floor, had a staring contest with their dog, and then the dog bit them in the face. So please be careful with that. All right. So in the video, it's going to talk about different breeds, different things about dogs that are good and bad. So I've got this great picture right here of a pit bull. Some people think all pit bulls are mean, but they're not. No, they're not all mean. Some people think all golden retrievers are nice and friendly and sweet, but they're not. So in the video, you're going to learn we judge the deed, not the breed. We judge what the dog does versus what kind of breed they are. So just like we don't judge each other by the way we look, we shouldn't judge our dogs by the kind of dog that they are, okay? So just a little bit about that. Now there's two other videos I hope you check out. One of them is called Dog Body Language. It's an excellent video that helps you to learn to read a dog's body language. Pay attention to their ears, their mouth, their tails, what all that means. So check that out. There's also another one called Dog Stars. It's for bite prevention. I want you to look at that too. And you may have been given this by your teacher if we've dropped off materials. It's Fido, Friend or Foe activity book. It's just a great book, great coloring book with tips on how to be safe around dogs. I've colored mine because I like to color, so I hope you do too. And for homework, you have three things. You want to check to see if your dog or cat has a current rabies vaccine or has that tag. Check to see if they're on monthly heartworm medication and flea medication. And lastly, Bonnie and I were talking about how this lesson is on health and safety of our pets, but we want you to stay healthy and safety too. So she asked me to write this down. It says, wash your paws. So make sure you wash your paws or your hands to keep them clean, especially the days that we're in now. All right? Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thank you for tuning in with us. Bye. Say bye, Bonnie.